Hi, good afternoon. I'm audible. Can you confirm, please? Okay. So in this class, we are going to discuss the some places in news in the month of June and the science and technology current affairs topics of the same month. These both of topics, even the location in news. If I'm talking about the locations in news, location plus science and technology. First of all, let's see their contributions in the prelims examination. So what you can get from these classes. If I'm talking about the location, every year the UPSC is asking 7 to 8 questions in the prelims. Are asking 7 to 8 questions in the prelims. And hi Shivam, good afternoon. In the science and technology, then average 12 questions, sometime 13 questions. 12 questions, sometime 13 questions the UPSC is asking in the prelims examinations. Means overall, if I can say, almost 20 questions. Almost 20 questions from science and technology and locations in news in the prelims paper. So for the prelims, this become very important for you to focus on the location in the news and the science and technology current affairs. Means your 20% of the paper, your 20% of the prelims paper is only can be covered through these classes. I am going to take almost 12 classes of science and technology, and the location in news, every month there will be a one class. And from the God's sake, from the last 2 years that I am taking the classes here, there were direct questions. The locations we discussed in the classrooms, the science and technology topics we discussed in the classroom directly appear into the prelims examination, even in the 2024 or in the 2023. Some of the video of them are uploaded on the YouTube channel of Edukemy. That's a direct hit from the Edukemy classroom program. So in this class, my main focus will be on specifically how to use the content. आपके पास content है, उसको use कैसे करना है? Which type of the question can be asked from the topic? What should be you focused on? किस पे किस तरीके से focus करना है? आपको आना क्या चाहिए specifically? If you are reading any location, looking at any location, what's the important in that location? That is requirement. If you are focusing on science and technology current affairs, so what is the way to read science and technology and their current affairs? Which type of the question can be framed on these current affairs? So this will be the way of the classrooms. Hi Joy Elsie Bhagwat, good afternoon. So today's class PDF is available. Yes, Ganesh, you will get the PDF after the class is over. You will get a PDF in a complete format with the complete details with the each topic you will find out here. So in the today class, your main thing is you will understand the topics, exactly what's the requirement for the examinations and how we can do that. Okay, so let's start the class. So first of all, we are going to cover some locations that are important for your prelims examination. So the first location that is the Iceland. The first location that is the Iceland. In Iceland, a volcano is erupt. In Iceland, a volcano is erupt. The name Sundhukagar volcano. The volcano is erupt in the Iceland and erupted in the 5th time. And it is erupted in 5th time from December 2023. Now the volcano is erupted from December 2023 and it was the 5th time. Okay. So this 5th time specifically, so we should focus on the Sundhukagar volcano and any other volcano nearby the Iceland. UPSC में ऐसा नहीं है कि they are going to ask you the same locations. They can also ask the locations which are nearby to this volcano, the nearby volcano to the Sundhu volcano. Okay, so let's see on the map. अगर हम मैप पे देखते हैं, there are two kind of the volcano we can see here. The first, the red in color, that's a Fagsafal. Fagsafal volcano, you can write down the spelling Fagradalsfjall. Fagsafal volcano, that's an important volcano in the Iceland. Fagsafal volcano, an important volcano in the island. And this volcano, the Sundukasgar volcano, is recently erupted into the Iceland. So you should focus on Sunduskar, you should focus on Fagsafal, and you also focus on Reykjavik volcano. You also focus on the Reykjavik volcano. So आप लोग इन तीनों volcano में focus करेंगे, number 1, number 2 and Fagsafal, number 3 volcano. It is not, they only asked the Sunduskar volcano, they can also ask the Reykjavik and the Fagsafal. Okay, so this was the first location, that is in the Iceland. The recently volcano is erupted, and that was the 5th time from the December 2023. Now let's move to the next topic, that's a Nord Stream. Nord Stream के बारे में we are discussing from the 2022 after the leakage in the pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline. It's an energy pipeline which is for the transportation of the energy from specifically Russia to the Europe, specifically from Russia to the Europe, and in the Europe specifically in the Germany, Russia से Germany में it's a pipeline from Russia to Germany. In Germany, maybe specifically Luxembourg. In Germany, it's specifically here, Greifswald. In Germany, it's specifically to the Greifswald. So it starts from the Viborg. It starts from the Viborg to the Greifswald. Viborg to Greifswald, and the second one is the Ustaluga to the Greifswald. Ustaluga to the Greifswald. This is the Nord Stream 1, NS1, and the second one is known as Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The first one is known as the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, and the second one is known as Nord Stream 2 pipeline. If we look at this dotted line, the purple color dotted line, that's from Ustaluga to the Greifswald. Ustaluga to the Greifswald is the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and this green color, this one, this is the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, that is from the Viborg to the Greifswald in the Germany. Why this was in the news specifically? Thousands of the ton of the methanes may have dissolved in the Baltic Sea due to the leakage in the Nord Stream pipeline. So here the two things are become more important. One is the Nord Stream pipeline. One is the Nord Stream pipeline, and second is the Baltic Sea. Second is the Baltic Sea. And in Baltic Sea specifically, the country bounding the Baltic Sea. In the Baltic Sea specifically, the country share boundary with Baltic Sea. In the year 2024, there was a question on a similar line. Which of the following country sharing the border with North Sea? Which of the following country sharing the border with North Sea? That was a question in 2024. Similarly, the question can be asked, which of the following country sharing the border with the Baltic Sea? So we should focus on the Baltic Sea. We should also focus on the Nord Stream. So Nord Stream, there are two pipelines, Nord Stream 1 pipeline and the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline from Russia to Germany, second also from Russia to Germany, but one is from the Ustaluga and the second is from the Viborg. Viborg to Greifswald and the Ustaluga to the Greifswald. So this is about the Nord Stream pipeline. So in the Nord Stream pipeline, you can see this is near to the Baltic Sea. If we look at here, the Baltic Sea, this is the Baltic Sea, then we should focus on the country bounding the Baltic Sea. Which country sharing their border with the Baltic Sea? इस तरीके से याद रखना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है whenever you are remembering the country name or the multiple country, like the country sharing the boundary with the Black Sea, the country sharing the boundary with the Red Sea, country sharing the boundary with the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. So there is a requirement of mnemonics. There is a requirement of the mnemonics कि for the Baltic Sea क्या mnemonics याद रखना है, for the specifically North Sea which kind of mnemonic you should remember, for the Black Sea which kind of mnemonic you should remember. So let's see first the which country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. The Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia and Russia here, Lithuania, Russia, Poland, Germany and Denmark. Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Poland, Russia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia and Finland. These are the countries which sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. Hi, good evening Vijayveer. These are the countries which sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. So let's write the mnemonics here. Root Germany, cell, Poland and Finland, cell, Poland and Finland. This is the mnemonic for the country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. Root Germany, cell, Poland and Finland. The root Germany, cell, Poland and Finland. In the case of the root, RU is Russia here. RU is Russia. DE is Denmark. DE is Denmark. So we can see here. Here is the Denmark. Here is the Russia. Here is the Russia and here is the Denmark. So root, Russia and Denmark. Then Germany. Root Germany. So we can see here. The Germany is here. Root Germany, cell, S-E-double-L. So here is the meaning of the cell. You can write here as Sweden. S is Sweden. Then Estonia. Estonia is here. Then Latvia and Lithuania. So we can write here Latvia and Lithuania. So root Germany, cell, Poland and Finland. Root Russia and Denmark. Germany, cell, Sweden, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Finland. So these are the countries which share boundary with the Baltic Sea, and this become an important location for your prelims 2025. If you are preparing for the 2025 prelims, you should remember the mnemonic, you should remember the country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. Nowadays, there is a new pattern involved in the UPSC. They are also asking why this place in the news. ये न्यूज में था तो क्यों था? Why the Nord Stream was in the news? Initially, it was in the news due to the attack by the some of the country on the Nord Stream and the leakage in the Nord Stream, specifically the Ukraine की वजह से हुआ था. But nowadays it is in the news because of the methane leakage from the Nord Stream pipeline, and it dissolved into the sea, which affecting the aquatic life. तो आपको region भी याद होना चाहिए. Why the some specific location, why the some specific pipeline is in the news. Okay, clear? Now let's move to the next one. Next one is the Iraq. Next topic is related to the Iraq. UNSC, United Nations Security Council, voted to end the United Nations Assistance Mission with the name UNAMI. United Nations Assistance Mission in Iraq. UNAMI mission, it complete 20 years. UNAMI mission in Iraq, and it's complete 20 years, which was started in the 2003 by the United States led invasion. by the United States led invasion. It was started in 2003 and recently it was ended after the 20 years. So the UNAMI, maybe the UPSC UNAMI के बारे में नहीं पूछे, अगर पूछेगा तो directly they will ask the UNAMI was recently mentioned in the news. It is related to which of the following country or it is related to XYZ things. Simple question आ सकता है. UNAMI was recently mentioned in the news. It is related to which country? Iran, Iraq, Saudi, Yemen. Any kind of the option they can give. The second type of the question they can ask, if the Iraq in the news, अगर Iraq news में है, तो what they are going to ask from the Iraq? There are some very important lakes in the Iraq. लेक थार की बात करूं मैं, लेक रजा की बात करूं, these are very important lakes in the Iraq. तो अगर आप न्यूज पे फोकस करते हैं, if you are focusing on the UNAMI, you should focus on the Iraq as well. You should focus on the Iraq as well. In the Iraq, you should specifically focus on the water bodies. And in these water bodies, you should focus on the lakes. Because if you look at the UPSC trends, they're asking 1 or 2 lake questions or the multiple question within a multiple lake question in a single question in the pair format. Pair format में 3-4 lake एक साथ पूछ लेंगे, या maybe they can ask the individual lakes to you. So that's become an important. What are the major important lakes in Iraq? So the UNAMI mission complete the 20 years. So it can be a direct question. The UNAMI was recently mentioned in the news. It is related to. The second kind of the question can be asked, the important lakes in the Iraq. Important lakes are the Lake Raja and the Lake Thar. Let's look at the lake on the map. अगर हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं, if you look at here is the Lake Thar. So you can write down the spelling so you can easily remember. Lake Thar and Lake Raja. Lake Raja and the Lake Thar are the important lakes in the Iraq. Lake Raja and the Lake Thar are the important lakes in Iraq. Clear? यहाँ तक सबको clear है? Our focus should be on question किस तरीके से पूछा जाएगा. आप सब लोग न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हैं, I know. Somebody may be reading the Indian Express. कुछ हिंदू पढ़ रहे होंगे, कुछ किसी इंस्टीट्यूट की मैगजीन पढ़ रहे होंगे. Somebody of them are scrolling the websites of the various institutions. Until and unless आप लोगों को यही नहीं पता how to use the content, which kind of the question the UPSC is going to ask on these topics, your study is not according to the requirement of examination. तो आप examination के according नहीं पढ़ रहे, आप भेड़ चाल में चल रहे. XYZ ने ABC इंस्टीट्यूशन का मैगजीन पढ़ा तो मैं भी पढ़ूंगा. XYZ हिंदू पढ़ रहा है तो मैं भी हिंदू ही पढ़ूंगा. I will not switch to the एक्सप्रेस. मुझे लैंग्वेज समझ आई नहीं है लेकिन मुझे हिंदू लेके पढ़ना है. रोड पे चलते चलते हिंदू पढ़ रहे हैं, रोड पे बैठ के आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हैं, बट यू डोंट नो हाउ टू यूज द कंटेंट. मार्केट इज फ्लडेड विद द कंटेंट. मार्केट में कंटेंट अनलिमिटेड है. एवरी इंस्टीट्यूशन इज प्रोवाइडिंग फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट ईच कंटेंट, बट कोई ये नहीं बता रहा कि उसको यूज कैसे करना है. तो एज अ स्टूडेंट योर एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम द इंस्टीट्यूशन शुड बी हाउ टू यूज द कंटेंट, विच काइंड ऑफ द कंटेंट आई कैन यूज, कहाँ पे यूज करना है. प्रीलिम्स का कंटेंट क्या होगा, मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव से कंटेंट को कैसे यूज करेंगे, GS1, GS2, GS3, 4 में कंटेंट को कैसे यूज करेंगे. इफ कोई लोकेशन न्यूज में है, कोई न्यूज है, कोई साइंस का न्यूज में है, तो उससे क्वेश्चन कैसे फ्रेम हो सकता है. तभी तो आपको पता लगेगा ना कि वेटेज क्या है, व्हाट इज द वेटेज ऑफ दिस टॉपिक इनटू द एग्जामिनेशन. नहीं तो मैं तो पढ़ा के चला जाऊंगा. तो अगर आपको यही नहीं पता होगा कि लेक में यूनामी मिशन के अलावा इराक में ये लेक भी पूछी जा सकती हैं, तो आपका फोकस तो सिर्फ यूनामी मिशन तक ही रह गया ना. तो यू शुड हैव एन आइडिया कि विच काइंड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन कैन बी फ्रेम्ड द टॉपिक यू आर रीडिंग. इवन द एनी सब्जेक्ट यू आर रीडिंग, अगर आप पॉलिटी, ज्योग्राफी, हिस्ट्री, इकोनॉमी कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हैं, करंट अफेयर पढ़ रहे हैं, ऑप्शनल पढ़ रहे हैं, यू शुड हैव एन आइडिया आई एम रीडिंग दिस कंटेंट, हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू यूज इट. मैं उसको यूज कहाँ पे करूंगा, वो तभी पता लगेगा जब आपने PYQs देखे होंगे. So there should be a clarity what we are reading, how we are going to use it. Okay. So now let's move to the next one. So in the Iraq, we discussed about the UNAMI mission. UNAMI mission was started in 2003 and it's ended in the recently 2024. So almost it's completed 21 years, and it was the invasion by the United States in the Iraq. तो अभी वो खत्म हो गया. With this one, we also focused on the two lakes into the Iraq. One is the Lake Thar and the second is the Lake Raja. So these are the very important lakes for your prelims examination, because these lakes are also affected by the climate change. Means the water level is decreasing in these lakes, and that's why it's become more important for your prelims examination. Now let's move to the new topic, the Funan Techno Canal. Funan Techno Canal in Cambodia. In Cambodia. Funan Techno Canal in Cambodia. Recently, the Cambodian government announced related to they started working on this canal, Funan Techno Canal. This is in the Cambodia. If Cambodia is in the news, if Cambodia is in the news, so first of all, we will focus obviously on the Funan Techno Canal, where it is located. Funan Techno Canal. Secondly, we will focus on the country sharing the boundary with Cambodia. Country sharing boundary with Cambodia. Third, we are going to share the river flowing through the Cambodia. River flowing through Cambodia. It's a major river. So now there is chances, 50% chances कि यही directly पूछ लिया जाए, Funan Techno Canal. Secondary chances, the country sharing the boundary with Cambodia पूछा जा सकता है. Third, they can also ask the river flowing through the Funan, through the Cambodia. There is a river which are flowing through the Cambodia, so you should know that river as well. So let's see the map for it. If you are looking at this map, I hope this is clear to everyone. Here is the planned, this color red मैं कर देता हूँ. This is the planned canal. This is the planned canal in Cambodia, and here is the capital of the Cambodia, and it is near to the capital. And there is a river flowing through it. River is flowing from the Laos, from then the Cambodia, then it is entering into the Vietnam, and then the South China Sea. This river is known as the Mekong River. Mekong River. So in the Mekong River, the one question can be, Mekong River flow through how many countries? Mekong River कहाँ से flow करती है? There are 4 countries: China, Laos, Cambodia, and the Vietnam. कहाँ से Mekong River flow करती है? That can also be the question. The country number 1, 2, 3, 4. Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Mekong River flow through these countries. Now we should look at the country sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. Here we can see the Thailand is sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. If here we look, the Thailand is sharing the boundary, Laos is sharing the boundary, and the Vietnam is sharing the boundary. The Thailand, Laos, and the Vietnam. Thailand, Laos, and the Vietnam are sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. So from the single topic of the Funan Techno Canal of Cambodia, 99% of you will stuck here only. आप लोग बस यही सोचोगे कि Funan Techno Canal तक ही limit है. But the limit is not up to the Funan Techno Canal. You should extend your limits. Funan Techno Canal with the country sharing the boundary with the Cambodia, then the Mekong River flowing through the how many countries? So you should focusing on these topics as well. So here we focused on the Cambodia sharing the boundary with Thailand, Laos and the Vietnam, and the Plant Funan Techno Canal is near to the Phnom Penh, the capital of the Cambodia, and the Mekong River starting from the China, that's entering to Laos, then to Cambodia, then to the Vietnam, and finally entering into the South China Sea. Finally entering into the South China Sea. So this is about the Funan Techno Canal of Cambodia. Now let's see here. There's a lake as well in the Cambodia. The lake. You can write down the name Tonle Sap Lake. I'm writing here. There's a lake in the Cambodia. That's a major lake. Tonle Sap Lake. Tonle Sap Lake in the Cambodia. Tonle Sap Lake in Cambodia. ठीक है? Let's move to the next one. Mount Kanlaon. Mount Kanlaon. Next topic is the Mount Kanlaon. Recently, the cold lava rushed through the streets as Mount Kanlaon erupted in the Philippines. Philippines हमेशा न्यूज में है from the last 3-4 years related to the eruptions in the volcanoes. So जितने भी volcano न्यूज में रहते हैं, they can be directly asked. Like in the 2017 or 18, there is a direct questions on the volcano in the Philippines. 2017-18 में direct question UPSC ने पूछा था from the volcano which has erupted in the Philippines at that time. Similarly, recently in the Mount Kanlaon, in the Philippines, there is a eruption of the cold lava from the mountains. That's the news only. इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ आपको देखना नहीं है. You should focus on where is the Kanlaon, and there are other one also. Here is the Mount Kanlaon. Here is the Mount Ragang. Here is the Mount Mayon. Here is the Pintabo. Here is the Tal. These red color mounts are the active volcanoes. We can say these are the active volcanoes. These are the active volcanoes. Next पे आते हैं Lake Natron. Lake Natron. It's a very important for your prelims. Lake Natron. आपके prelims examinations के लिए it's a very important lake, and this lake is in Tanzania. This lake in Tanzania. Lake Natron. This is impacted because of the climate change again. The Lake Natron. अगर आप UPSC का trend देखेंगे, if you are look at the trend of the UPSC, you will find out the lake or the water bodies which are impacted because of the climate change. That was a 100% question in the prelims. वो आपके हर साल prelims में question मिला है जो हमेशा climate change की वजह से lake और water bodies न्यूज में रहे हैं. Even it's about the LLC. LLC पे तो 2 से 3 बार क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है because of the dryness. LLC पे 2 से 3 बार क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है. Similarly, the lake in the Iran, वहाँ से भी क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. Lake of Victoria से क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. तो now the lake in Tanzania. Now the lake in Tanzania, we are looking at the Lake Natron. Anybody can tell me the other lakes? Anybody can tell me the other lakes in the Tanzania? There are the 4-5 lakes. There are the 4-5 lakes in Tanzania. There are the 4-5 lakes in Tanzania. Yeah, Debagraha is saying Karba. Okay. The famous lake Victoria. Yes. अभी आपको यहाँ पे भी देखना है. न्यूज में नेट्रॉन है, but there are the 4-5 other lakes. That's the major lake in the Tanzania. Instead of asking the natron, they can move to the another lake. Natron की जगह वो दूसरे lakes को भी पूछ सकते हैं. So let's see what are the other lakes in the Tanzania. If I'm looking at here, the Lake Malawi. Write down. आप साथ साथ लिखते रहें. The Lake Malawi. Lake Malawi. लेक नेट्रॉन हमने देखा ही, लेक नेट्रॉन, here is the lake नेट्रॉन, lake नेट्रॉन is here. Then the lake Manyara, lake Manyara. Then if you are looking at here, the lake Tanganyika, the lake Tanganyika. And the most important and the largest lake is the Lake Victoria. So, Lake Victoria. This was in the news, Lake Netron was in the news, but others are the major lake in the Tanzania. So you should also know the name Lake Victoria, Lake Malawi, Lake Netron, Lake Manyara and the Lake Tanganyika. Victoria, Malawi, Netron, Manyara and the Tanganyika. So these are the other lakes which are important for the examination. These are the lakes which are important for the examinations. Now let's move to the another location. यहाँ पे yes, one more lake, you can write the Lake Rukwa. Lake Rukwa. Add one more lake here, the Lake Rukwa. 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 The Lake Rukwa. RUKWA. This is also in Tanzania. So we write down the 6 lakes: the Lake Victoria, Lake Malawi, Lake Netron, Lake Manyara, Lake Tanganyika, and the Lake Rukwa. These are the lakes into the Tanzania or sharing lakes with the other country as well. Okay. Now let's move to the another location, the Denmark. Denmark is the first country in the world. Denmark is the first country in the world which having the major pork and dairy exporters, and now introduce a tax. Now introduce a tax on the livestock carbon dioxide emission. The tax on livestock carbon dioxide emission. Carbon dioxide emission. Livestock, jitna bhi carbon dioxide, they are the major source of emission of the methane, carbon dioxides. So they introduce a tax there, and it's the first country. It is the yes, Soumyadev Sanayasa name. You are right. Okay, so Denmark is the first country in the world which introduced a tax on the livestock emission of carbon dioxides. Now you can use this fact specifically in your GS3 mains answer when there is a question in the environment part that is related to the emission of the gases, increasing the concentration of carbon dioxides, why there is an increase, what's a major source of the increase, and what steps are taken at the India and the international level. जब आप इंटरनेशनल लेवल की बात करेंगे, सो यू कैन मेंशन दिस कि इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे पार्टिकुलर कंट्री पार्टिकुलर एक्शन ले रहे हैं. यू कैन मेंशन दिस एज अ केस स्टडी एज वेल. आफ्टर सम टाइम देयर विल बी रिजल्ट्स दैट वी कैन लुक एट कि क्या इसका इम्पैक्ट रहा. तो यू कैन डायरेक्टली कोट दीज काइंड ऑफ द न्यूज इन योर आंसर्स. तो आप इस तरीके की न्यूज को डायरेक्टली मेंशन कर सकते हैं इन योर आंसर्स. तो डेनमार्क एज अ मेजर पोर्क एंड डेयरी फैक्टर विच इंट्रोड्यूस द livestock carbon dioxide is the first country in the world which introduced this kind of a tax. Okay, now let's see Denmark. Denmark in the North Sea. It is in the North Sea. We see the Denmark here in the North Sea, sharing the boundary with the Baltic as well, but it's a part of the North Sea as well. How many of you know the country sharing the boundary with the North Sea? Country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. कौन बताएगा? This was the question in 2024. This was the question in the 2024 UPSC prelims. Country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. So here is the Denmark. Here is the Denmark, which sharing the boundary with the North Sea. So you need to tell how many country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. कौन बताएगा? सौम्या, नूपुर, गणेश, सचरित, दिबग्रह, ईशान, शिवम, अर्ची, शिवानी, anybody. The country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. The country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. मैप है आपके सामने यार, बता सकते हो देख के. यूके, नॉर्वे, जर्मनी, नीदरलैंड. ठीक है गणेश. A map in front of you, you can directly look at Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, France, UK. जर्मनी, फ्रांस, यूके. मैप आपके सामने है, फिर भी आप नहीं बता पा रहे तो इट्स लाइक क्या ही बताएं. ठीक है. तो देयर इज अ निमोनिक्स फॉर इट एज वेल. देयर इज अ निमोनिक्स, द कंट्री sharing the boundary with the North Sea. The country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. So you can write down the mnemonics. North and BEG. North and BEG are my friends. Are my friends. North and BEG are my friends. North and BEG are my friends. North is the Norway. North is the Norway. Locate the same in the map. जैसे ही आपको पता लगता है locate in the map. North is the Norway here. Then BE. BE is the Belgium. We can look at here. The BE is the Belgium here. So BE is the Belgium. G, Germany here. G is Germany. G is Germany. We look Norway here, Germany here, and Belgium here. North and BEG. Now see here. Are my FR France. FR France here. We can write France. EN is England, UK. EN is England here. You can see here EN is England. D. D is Denmark. D is Denmark. N, Netherlands. And Netherlands. S, Sweden. S, Sweden. Here is the Sweden. Here is the Netherlands. Here is the Sweden. Here is the Netherlands. Here is the Belgium. Here is the Germany. Here is the France. Here is the England. Here is the Denmark. So North and BEG are my friends. North and BEG are my friends. North and BEG are my friends. Friends, FR is France, D is Denmark, S is Sweden, N is Netherlands, E is England, and B is Belgium, G is Germany, North is Norway. So you can remember the name easily. The North and BEG are my friends. So these are the country which sharing the boundary with the North Sea. The country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. Country which sharing the boundary with the North Sea. इससे पहले हमने देखा था which are the country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. These are the routes: Germany, Kiel, Poland, and the Finland. Russia, Denmark, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland and the Finland. These are countries which sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. Yeah, you can do that, Soumyadeep. It's like you can go with the ends, the Netherlands, but that's the way we are describing it. The North and BAZ are my friends. Clear यहाँ तक? Any question till here? Okay, so let's move to the next topic. So these are the country. आपने देख लिया नॉर्थ सी के कौन-कौन से कंट्री शेयर करते हैं. Next is the science topic we will start. The next we are going to start the science and technology. Science and technology. So before moving to the science and technology, let's revise the location once again. So you should remember, आपको यहीं पे याद हो जाए. The first location was the Iceland. In the Iceland, we looked at the volcano Sundho. Then in the volcano, there are three we look at: the Faxafal, Sundhusigar, and the Revisionik volcano. We looked at here, so you should focus on these three volcanoes. The next we focus on the Nord Stream. In the Nord Stream, we focused on the two pipeline, the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream 1 from both are from the Russia to Germany. One is from the Ustaluga to Germany, then Savoyburg to the Germany. In the Germany, specifically in the grease field. In the Germany, specifically in the grease field, if we are looking at here, in the Germany, specifically in the grease field. Then we looked at the country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. The country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea, the Russia, root Germany, cell Poland and the Finland. Then the Russia, Denmark, Sweden, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and the Finland. These are the countries sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. Then next we focused on the Iraq, UNSC, the UNAMI mission is recently added in the Iraq. It's the US ने capture किया था in the 2003. It's almost after 20 years. It and the Iraq 20 साल के बाद almost खत्म हुआ है. So it's UNAMI has become the important as well as the lakes, other lakes in the Iraq become more important. Then we looked at the Iraq. Then we look at the Lake Thar and the Lake Raja. We looked at the Lake Thar and the Lake Raja. That's are the important lake in the Iraqs. After that, we focused on the Funan Techno Canal. Funan Techno Canal, we specifically focused in the Cambodia. Then in the Cambodia, we looked at the country sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. Cambodia के साथ कौन-कौन से country boundary share करते हैं. Then the river flowing through the Cambodia, specifically the Mekong River, which is passing through the 4 countries and then drain into the South China Sea. Passing from the 4 countries like China, Laos, Vietnam and the Cambodia. And similarly, the country sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. If we look at the plant Funan Techno Canal is near to the capital of the Cambodia, the Phnom Penh, and the country sharing the Thailand, Laos and the Vietnam are sharing the boundary with the Cambodia. Next we looked at the lake in the Cambodia, the Tonle Sap Lake. The Tonle Sap Lake in the Cambodia we looked at, so that's also the part of it. Next पे आते हैं the Mount Kanlaon. Mount Kanlaon is the Philippines. The Kanlaon mountain in the Philippines specifically. These are the important mountains, like those are continuously erupting the volcano. That means the active volcanoes are there. We looked at the 5 active volcanoes here: Pointabo, Taal, Mayon, Kanlaon and the Ragang. These are the 5 active volcanoes into the Philippines. So any of them can be asked कि कहाँ पे located है, क्या है. Next पे आते हैं तो next में we focused on the Lake Natron in the Tanzania. There are the various lakes in the Tanzania. We focused on the 5-6 lakes in the Tanzania which are the having in the Tanzania. तो हमने focus किया Lake Victoria on the eastern side, Lake Malawi, then the Lake Natron, then the Lake Manyara, Lake Tanganyika and the Lake Rukwa. These are the important lakes in the Tanzania that we focused on. After that we focused on the Lake Rukwa, that's specifically in the Tanzania. Then we focused on Denmark. It's become the first country to introduce the tax on the carbon dioxide emitted by the livestock. Livestock means cow, buffaloes. Okay, and then we looked at the country sharing the boundary with the North Sea. Then the North and BG are my friend. Norway, Belgium, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Netherlands, Finland, England. These are the countries which sharing the boundary with the North Sea. Okay. Now let's move to the science and technology topic. Let's move to the science and technology topics. The first topic we are going to discuss here is the trans fat elimination. In the first topic we are going to discuss the trans fat elimination. Aditi Patra, yes, you can do that. You can divide the science and technology into the various category. I will suggest instead of the folder, make a single notebook. Folders में थोड़ा सा complexity रहती है कि आपको हर पेज के साथ अलग जाना पड़ेगा. Make a single notebook. Divide that single notebook into the multiple topics. I can write down here that you can divide into these topics. The science and technology. आप इस तरीके से divide कर सकते हैं. The major important part in the science and technology, the biotechnology. The first part it can be of the biotechnology. In the biotechnology, that's where we are focusing on specifically on the DNA, we are focusing on the RNA, we are focusing on the gene editing. We then focus on the application of the biotechnology, in the healthcare industry and the other more topics. The first topic can be of the biotech. The second topic can be of the space technology. In the space technology, you can divide this part into the specifically where we are focusing on the satellites, where we are focusing on the launching vehicles like the PSLV, GSLV. We are focusing on the orbits. We are focusing on the space missions. We are focusing on the agency like the ISRO, NASA. Mission launched by these agency, we are focusing on the space technology. After the space technology, you people can make the third category like the defense technology. Third, you can make the defense tech. In defense tech, we are focusing on the DRDO. We are focusing on the indigenization of technology. We are focusing on the different kind of the missiles. We are focusing on the any kind of the schemes or the any kind of the like new missiles, new programs by the defense ministry. The third can be of the defense technology. The fourth you can make here robotics, where we are focusing on the specific function of the robots, function with the application of the robotics in the healthcare sector, in the nuclear sector, in the agriculture sector. Then we focus on the application. This is specifically the main perspective. Then you can make next one the ICT technology, internets and communication technologies, information and the communication technology. In the information communication technology, we are specifically focus on like the wearable devices, different kind of the screen like the QLED, OLED, QLED screens, OLED screens. We are focusing on the artificial intelligence के बारे में हम बात करते हैं. We are focusing on the different kinds of the cloud computing की बात करते हैं, quantum computing की बात करते हैं. तो information and the communication technology can be the fifth part of it. After the information and the communication technology, you can make the sixth one on the nanotechnology. And the seventh you can make on the IPR, intellectual property rights. You can make on the intellectual property right, the 7 kind differentiation on the intellectual property rights. Then the 8th you can make on the contribution of scientist. You can make the 8th division. After it, you can make the 9th division, specifically related to the basics of biology, where they can ask a question on cell, different kind of the cell walls, or the mitochondria, about the 10th you can make on the health and disease, the different kind of the disease they can ask here. It can be the artificial intelligence. Ganesh, AI is the artificial intelligence. That is the part of the ICT में ही आप डाल लेंगे इसको. Okay, then 10th can be the health and disease, and the 11th can be the basics of physics and chemistry. Basics of physics and chemistry. And the 12th you can make the miscellaneous. 12th you can make the miscellaneous. So this is the categorization of the science and technology. After AI, what is the written? Okay, cloud computing. This is the cloud computing. Cloud computing. After AI, it's written the cloud computing. So you can divide the science and technology into these 12 categories. आप note down कर लीजिए, उसके बाद we can start. Can divide the science and technology into these 12 category, but I will suggest instead of making the folders, please make a single notebook out of it, जहाँ पे आपको एक सिंगल नोटबुक में ही डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज के क्वेश्चंस, डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज के टॉपिक्स, न्यूज को आप सेग्रीगेट करके अंडर द डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स ऐड कर सकते हैं. इट विल हेल्प यू. 11th इज द बेसिक्स ऑफ फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री. बेसिक्स ऑफ लाइक द रिफ्लेक्शन के बारे में पूछ लिया जाता है, रिफ्लेक्शंस पूछ लिया जाता है, पॉलीमर्स पूछ लिया जाता है, एनवायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री से क्वेश्चन आ जाते हैं, डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ द पॉलीमर्स के बारे में पूछ लिया, पॉलीथीन, पॉलीथाइलिन के बारे में पूछ लिया जाता है, बेंजीन के बारे में पूछ लिया जाता है, या फिर फिनोल के बारे में क्वेश्चन आ जाते हैं. तो दैट कैन बी कम्स अंडर द बेसिक्स ऑफ फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री. देन द मिसलेनियस, जो कहीं नहीं आ रहा तो यू कैन ऐड इनटू द मिसलेनियस. ठीक है. So make a single notebook, divide that notebook into the multiple parts and start writing in that notebook. At the end of the year, you can find out ki all the science and technology current affairs specifically related to science and tech at the one place. Similarly, make a separate small notebook with locations in the news. In the last class, I also discussed the location of the May month, जहाँ पे हमने discuss की थी almost 15 to 20 locations. This today also 7 to 8 location we discussed of the June month. Write down these locations into at a single place, क्योंकि at the time of the prelims ना वो ढूंढना नहीं पड़ेगा आपको. टाइम ऑफ प्रीलिम्स में डिफरेंट मैगजीन्स को प्रेफर नहीं करना पड़ेगा, भागना नहीं पड़ेगा क्या पढ़ना क्या नहीं पढ़ना, क्या लोकेशन आने वाला है. If you're writing at these location at a single place, then it will be a good book for you. आपको कोई मैगजीन रेफर करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा, कुछ भी पढ़ने, just a single source where you can rely on. And I can guarantee if you're making these kind of segregation, writing in these segregation notes, then it is a one-stop solution for your current affairs specifically. I can assure for the science के लिए, economics के लिए, specifically for the locations as well. Okay, so let's start the first topic. First topic is about the fatty acids. ओके स्टार्ट करें. लिख लिए सबने? डन. Okay, let's move to the first topic. The first topic is the trans fat elimination. आप लोगों में चिप्स, कुरकुरे खाने वाले तो ऑलमोस्ट सब होंगे, पैकेज फूड्स खाने वाले भी सब लोग होंगे, प्रोसेस्ड फूड भी आप लोग खाते होंगे, रेडी टू ईट पोहा, ready to eat Maggi, 2 minutes noodles, 2 minutes poha, finger chips, McD French fries, Lay's chips, कुरकुरे एंड बला बला बला, बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो आज के टाइम में, मैक आलू टिक्की, इसके साथ साथ बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जैसा रेडीमेड फूड जो मिलता है. तो ट्रांस फैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ दीज रेडीमेड हाईली प्रोसेस्ड फूड. Yes, you can say that, Ganesh, the fast food with the S silence, the fat food, but I can also say that it can be like a cause of the early heart attacks. Nowadays, we are listening the news, a 26-year-old boy, girl died due to cardiac arrest. That is because of the eating habits as well. Eating habits, in the case we can say we are consuming more and more trans fats. It is depositing into our in blood vessels and leading to the cardiac arrest at that time. So now we will focus on the trans fat elimination. So in the trans fat elimination, we will focus on exactly what is the trans fat है क्या? What is the trans fat? We will focus on exactly what is the trans fat. If we are looking at the trans fat, then what's the saturated one and what is the unsaturated trans fat? अगर हम बात करें सैचुरेटेड ट्रांस फैट क्या है, अनसैचुरेटेड ट्रांस फैट क्या है, then we should also focus on what is the low density lipoprotein, LDL बोलते हैं. What is the high density lipoprotein? LDL is known as to be the more dangerous to the body. जब भी आप अपना कोलेस्ट्रॉल चेक कराते हैं तो स्पेसिफिकली डॉक्टर्स आर फोकस्ड ऑन द LDL कि हाउ मच अमाउंट ऑफ द LDL आर डिपॉजिटेड इन योर ब्लड वेसल्स. देन द HDL, हाई डेंसिटी लिपोप्रोटीन, इट इज गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ. HDL के बारे में भी बात करेंगे. We will also talk about the World Bank, WHO के टारगेट्स के बारे में कि WHO ने टारगेट्स क्या रखा है स्पेसिफिकली रिलेटेड टू द ट्रांस फैट एलिमिनेशन. इंडिया में क्या स्कीम है और सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ट्रांस फैट का कहाँ पे है? इट्स इन अ डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी और द डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी. हाई डेंसिटी लिपोप्रोटीन, LIPO PROTEIN, high density lipoprotein and the low density lipoprotein. So recently the WHO released a report that's a 5th milestone reports on the progress of the global trans fat eliminations के बारे में WHO ने रिपोर्ट पब्लिश की है. that is from the period of 2018 to 2023. This is the report from the period of 2018 to 2023. Means in the last 5 years reused oil also trans fat, yes the one kind of the trans fat. श्रद्धा, अगर हम बात करें reused oil तो that's specifically with the known RUCO. reused oil and specifically we are talking about the reused cooking oil के बारे में हम बात करते हैं. बाहर से जब आप समोसे खाते हो, कचौरी खाते हो स्पेसिफिकली, you see the black color of the oil and they are deep frying the things from that black color oil. That is known as reused cooking oil. Yes, yeah, Ganesh, like the Maharashtra में भजिया बोला जाता है. You have say in the Delhi language or the North Indian language known as the pakoda. तो different में अलग है. But we are focusing on the RUCO. RUCO is the reused cooking oil. जब हम oil को continuously use करते हैं, that's become the reused cooking oil. And in that cooking oil there is a saturation of the fatty acids that lead to the different kind of the oil. लेकिन it is not guaranteed that will lead to the trans fat generation. उसको continuously use करते हैं, that will affect the health continuously, but we cannot say it can be a part of trans fat. It may be, it may not be, because in the trans fat there is a specific thing, we do the hydrogenation. हम liquid oils का hydrogenation करते हैं to increase the shelf life. बचपन में सॉरी आप तो जेनजी जनरेशन से हैं, बचपन की तो बात ही नहीं है. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा इन द 2000, यस HDL इज गुड, इन द 2011-12 के आसपास देयर इज अ डालडा इज अ ब्रांड. डालडा ब्रांड है जिसका स्पेसिफिकली वनस्पति घी आता था. 2011-12 के आसपास वनस्पति घी आता था. दैट वनस्पति घी इज अ काइंड ऑफ द ट्रांसफर. यस येलो पैकेट, दैट्स इन द येलो पैकेट. नाउ अलग अलग कंपनी का आता था. वन कंपनी वाज स्कूटर, other company was dalda, and some kind of the different 4-5 companies was there that's producing the hydrogenated fatty oils. Hydrogenated fatty acid means in the normal unsaturated fatty acid they are doing the hydrogenation, means they are doing the hydrogenation with the hydrogen and increasing its shelf life. जब भी आप हाइड्रोजनेटेड फैटी एसिड में किसी भी प्रोडक्ट को रखोगे दैट कैन सर्वाइव फॉर द लॉन्गर आवर्स. अगर आप देखोगे कुरकुरे कैन हैविंग एक्सपायरी डेट ऑफ आफ्टर द 6 months. Similarly, the Lay's having expiry date of 12 months, and some other products you are eating outside in the market, or the I can say the specifically product that's the packaged processed food you are eating in the market that are specifically having the high shelf life because of the fatty acids की वजह से, and that is specifically to the trans fatty acid that are known as the saturated fatty acids. तो श्रद्धा, RUCO reused cooking oil में yes it can be, it may not be, but it's a part of it. ठीक है. तो हम बात कर रहे थे ट्रांस फैट एलिमिनेशन की. WHO ने अभी रिपोर्ट रिसेंटली रिलीज अ रिपोर्ट रिलेटेड टू द फैटी एसिड्स एंड द ट्रांस फैट के बारे में. इट्स अ रिपोर्ट ऑफ द लास्ट 5 years स्पेसिफिकली. व्हाट आर द टारगेट्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इन द लास्ट 5 years 2018 से 2023 के बीच में. व्हाट आर द स्टेक होल्डिंग. सो अगर मैं स्पेसिफिकली ब्रीफ में बात करता हूँ अबाउट दिस रिपोर्ट, so in this report the government is specifically focused on, किस किस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट फोकस करती है. The WHO given targets. They said that in 2016, then 2017, there are almost the 16%. There are almost 16% of the countries which are specifically having a guidelines for the trans fatty acids. कुछ 16% countries हैं, almost in the numbers I can say the 16 countries. Then the WHO have a target कि 2023 तक हम complete eliminate कर देंगे. Then the 2023 the WHO have a target कि we will completely remove the trans fats from the food supply chain. फूड सप्लाई चेन की जितने भी आप पैकेज फूड देखते हो सप्लाई चेन में जहां जहां ट्रांस फैट का यूज होता है तो WHO टारगेट फॉर इट कि वी आर गोइंग टू एलिमिनेट इन द 2023. लेकिन अभी रिसेंट में जो डेटा आया है WHO का, दे आर सजेस्टिंग इट ओनली द ऑलमोस्ट 46 to 48 कंट्री, only 46 to the 48 country are complying with the guidelines of the WHO. मीन्स जो WHO ने जो गाइडलाइंस दी थी उनमें स्पेसिफिकली 46 to 48 कंट्री ही ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने उन गाइडलाइन को फॉलो किया. सो दे आर नॉट एबल टू अचीव द स्पेसिफिकली द थिंग्स दैट आर टारगेटेड बाय द WHO में जो चीजें टारगेट हुई तो वो एबल नहीं थे उसको अचीव करने के लिए. तो नाउ द WHO इज गिविंग द न्यू टारगेट लाइक दैट 2030 वी आर गोइंग टू एलिमिनेट द ट्रांस फैट अगेन. तो दिस इज द आइडिया ऑफ दिस रिपोर्ट की एग्जैक्टली इस रिपोर्ट में क्या क्या बोला गया. एंड देयर आल्सो द पॉलिसी दे आर सेइंग अबाउट कि हाउ मेनी पीपल्स आर अफेक्टेड बाय इट. ऑलमोस्ट वी कैन से दैट कि पहले 16% ऑफ द वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन, ऑलमोस्ट 8 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन, दे आर द only the 1 billion population that's not consuming the trans fat, or they are consuming in the very less amount. But now they remove the more population, like almost 3.6 billion people are now aware about the trans fat. Now they are aware about the trans fat consumption, and also they are aware about there are the negative side effects of this trans fat. Yes, Shraddha, that's why the mission RUCO, reused cooking oil mission, that's a government mission. We need to collect the reused cooking oil to convert into the biodiesel or the biofuels के बारे में बात करें. Okay, total 53 country अभी तक जो है follow कर रहे हैं best practices and the policies in the place. These policies are vastly improved the food environment of approximately 3.7 billion peoples or the 46% of the world population. इसी के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने स्पेसिफिकली WHO का टारगेट था कि 2023 तक हम कंप्लीट करेंगे, बट वी आर नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन. जब हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रैक्टिस की बात करते हैं, दैट्स अ स्पेसिफिकली टर्म यूज द GMP. The GMP is the good manufacturing practice, means the guidelines issued by the governments, the guidelines issued by the specifically departments for the manufacturing of the food products comes under the GMP. In specifically in the pharmaceutical sectors, there are the guidelines for the good manufacturing practice, how you are producing the things. आजकल तो आप Instagram पे, YouTube पे specifically scrolling the reels. आप रील्स को स्क्रॉल करते हो, स्पेसिफिकली यू आर फाइंडिंग आउट हाउ द टोस्ट आर दे आर मेकिंग, टोस्ट को किस तरीके से बनाते हुए दिखाया जाता है. इवन दे आर शोइंग हाउ दे आर मेकिंग द चाप, डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ द अलग अलग तरीके से दिखाया जाता है. some reels they are showing how they are making the pasta, in the some reels they are showing how the Maggi is made, in the some reels they are showing in the tetra pack किस तरीके से बैक्टीरिया फंजाई उसको इफेक्ट कर रहा है. So these things you are looking into the your social media handles, specifically on the Instagram and the YouTube reels की बात करूं. With your UPSC perspective points, ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Why this is happening? Means in the country they are not following the GMP, that's a good manufacturing practices. They are not following the guidelines. तो अप्रूवल कहाँ से मिल जा रहा है? Again the point, how they are getting the approval for their products. If they are making the things like this with the hygienic manner, and we are eating those products, obviously I am also one of them who are eating these products, consuming these products, but how they are getting the approval for these things? The same incidents happen into the old Rajendra Nagar, the condolence for those candidates, those who are lose their life into the old Rajendra Nagar incidents. They are not following the guidelines issued by the MCD, Municipal Committee of Delhi. They are not followed the guidelines issued by the Delhi governments, specifically related to you cannot use the basement as a library. You cannot get the approval for the basement as a library. Similarly, the guidelines into this sector, अगर आप फूड सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया की बात करते हैं, दैट्स अ मेजर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है दैट इज कंट्रोलिंग द food products, that is controlling the approval of the food products in the market, that is controlling the specifically the marketing of these products, that is controlling the approval. क्या कंटेंट होना चाहिए, कितने अमाउंट में होना चाहिए, क्या पैकेजिंग होना चाहिए, क्या लोगो होना चाहिए. दीज ऑल द काइंड्स आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय द फूड सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. क्या सारे प्रोडक्ट इंडिया में जो मार्केट में हैं वो अप्रूव्ड हैं? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन मार्क. अगर नहीं है तो हाउ दे आर सेलिंग इन द मार्केट. एंड देयर इज अ केस स्पेसिफिकली, मैं थोड़ा सा टॉपिक से हट के बता देता हूँ आप लोगों को. पतंजलि को तो सब जानते होंगे ना, बाबा रामदेव, योगा से होगा. एवरीबडी नो द बाबा रामदेव. There was a recent High Court order related to some of the products sold by the Baba Ramdev company, specifically the Divya Pharmacy and the Patanjali Limited के नाम से आता है. Out of those, there are almost 18 to 20 products, 18 to 20 products, though not having the guidelines issued by the ICMR, Council Medical Research. आयुष से guidelines issue नहीं था. They are not having the approval for those products as well. Drishti eye drop आता था एक specifically. Drishti eye drop, don't confuse with the Drishti coaching classes. Drishti eye drop of the Patanjali आता था specifically. That also not approved by the Ayush, and that's also not approved by the councils. But they are selling into the market from the last 7-8 years. They are selling into the market from the last 7-8 years. How it's possible in the country? किस तरीके से चीजें चल रही हैं, तो यू कैन रिलेट ऑन दीज थिंग्स, हाउ द थिंग्स वर्क्स इन द कंट्री. सो दीज आर द वन ऑफ द टाइप. कुरकुरे इज अ बैड प्रोडक्ट एज इट बर्न द सेम एज प्लास्टिक एंड बिकम ब्लैक टार टाइप. मे बी, मे नॉट बी, आई कैन नॉट कमेंट कि कुरकुरे वाले मेरे पे केस कर देंगे, यू आर सेइंग आवर प्रोडक्ट इज अ प्लास्टिक. एंड टर्नओवर इज मोर देन 10,000 crores. Yes, it's a different game. That's a different game of the FMCG industry. Okay. So now let's come again on the topic. Divert नहीं करते हैं topic से. We are discussing about the trans fats. We are discussing about the recently reports released by the WHO. WHO ने जो reports release किया, but the target was 2023 years. Now, my first question: how we are going to use this report? इस report को हम question में कैसे use करेंगे? Any idea? हम पढ़ रहे हैं, हम ज्ञान बांट रहे हैं. WHO ने ये बोला, trans fat eliminate करने के लिए बोला, इंडिया में अथॉरिटी है, बट हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू यूज इट? एनी आइडिया? एनी आइडिया? एनी क्वेश्चन रिलेटिंग टू चेंजिंग इन द फूड हैबिट्स? ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा नहीं स्पेसिफिकली सचरित. जब हम बात करते हैं स्पेसिफिकली डिजीज के बारे में, जब हम बात करते हैं स्पेसिफिकली साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में, तो देयर आर 3 मेंस क्वेश्चन. साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में 3 मेंस क्वेश्चन आएंगे इन द GS3. These 3 main question almost having the 40 marks. 2 15 marker, एक 10 marker आता है. In these 3 question you can find out the question the health issue. Health issue में आएगा तो you can see one time the question the cardiac arrest is increasing into the younger generation. इस तरीके का question हो सकता है. That can relate to the different kind of the current situation से. There can be the another like the non-communicable type of diseases are increasing in the country. NCD increase हो रही है, that's one of the reason. क्यों NCD increase होते हैं? Non-communicable disease क्यों increase हो रहे हैं? You can directly quote the data. The trans fat की वजह से है. That's the reason behind it. FSSAI का approval के without products market में बिकते हैं. So that's kind of another thing. आप लोगों को पता होगा कि MDH मसाला सबने ही खाया होगा. MDH मसाला. इसके साथ साथ एवरेस्ट मसाले, दे आर बैंड इन द सिंगापुर नाउ. ठीक है. देयर आर 2 प्रोडक्ट्स यहाँ पे इथाइलिन मिला इन स्पेसिफिकली इन दीज स्पाइसेस, दे आर फाइंडिंग द इथाइलिन. हाउ दे अप्रूव्ड? कैसे अप्रूव हुआ? इफ दे फाइंडिंग द इथाइलिन, व्हाई दे आर सेलिंग कंटिन्यूअसली इन इंडिया? इंडिया में अभी भी क्यों बिक रहे हैं? That's a kind of the question mark. We can having a question mark on the system. We have a question mark on the administration कि क्या क्या issue हो सकता है. Lead in Maggi, no, it's like a fake news, Ibrahim. There is a no lead product in the Maggi. अभी तक तो ऐसा नेस्ले ने प्रूव किया है. अगर lead होता, बिकॉज बायो एक्यूमुलेटिंग सब्सटेंस, वो कंटिन्यूसली एक्यूमुलेट होगा आपकी बॉडी में, तो आई कैन से इज नॉट lead in Maggi. अप्रूव्ड है, उसके बाद ही मार्केट में वो आया है. बिकॉज देयर इज अ केस इन 2018 शायद, जब मैगी बैन हो गया था इंडिया में, तभी तो बाबा पतंजलि बाबा आया था नूडल्स स्पेसिफिकली. तो इसके बारे में बात करते हैं. तो स्पेसिफिकली डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ द फैट. यहाँ पे 3 डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फैट्स होते हैं. वन इज द अनसैचुरेटेड फैट, जिनकी हम स्पेसिफिकली बात कर रहे हैं. देन द सैचुरेटेड फैट्स एंड द ट्रांस फैट्स की बात करते हैं. व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द अनसैचुरेटेड फैट्स in the chemistry terms I can tell you, which are having the double bonds. जो सिंगल बॉन्ड्स नहीं होते, डबल बॉन्ड्स होता है स्पेसिफिकली इन द अनसैचुरेटेड फैट्स. In the unsaturated fats, like we are using eating the avocado, we are eating the milk based products, and some of you are eating the like the meat based products, they are having the unsaturated fats. But these unsaturated fats are the healthy for the human beings. These unsaturated fats are also present in the, I can say, the walnut. They are also present in the some of the dry fruits that are the very good for the human beings. But when these unsaturated fats are used in the different perspective, in the form of a trans fat, when we are using these unsaturated fats in the form of trans fat. Unsaturated fats के स्ट्रक्चर में आपको बता देता हूँ क्या फर्क होता है. What is the difference in the structure of unsaturated fatty acids, good and bad. In the good kind of the fatty acid, जो unsaturated fatty acid अच्छे होंगे, they are having the double bond here and they are having the hydrogen attached to the right hand sides. They are having hydrogen attached to the right hand sides. These are known as dextrorotatory trans fats. They are having hydrogen attached to the right hand side. जिन्होंने साइंस नहीं पढ़ा है in the 11th 12th, आप इसको भूल जाओ. It's not a good thing. अच्छी बात नहीं है इसको समझना. Those who understand the science and technology, I think you get it. These are dextrorotatory. They are having the good for the human beings. These are good for the human beings. But in the case of the trans fat, they are known as the levorotatory. They are having the hydrogen attached to the left hand sides. They are having hydrogen attached to the left hand sides, but in the good one they are in the right hand sides. जैसे ही लेफ्ट हैंड साइड्स में अटैच होगा तो उस केस में it specifically lead to the formation of trans fat, and this is also known as the hydrogenation of the oil. This is known as the hydrogenation of the oil. आजकल आप तीन तरीके के ऑयल कंज्यूम करते हैं. वन इज नोन एज द रिफाइंड ऑयल. Refined oil में I can say that you can eating the soya oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, rice bran oil. There are different kind of the oils you are eating. The second kind of the product you are eating the desi ghee. The desi ghee specifically you are eating, and the tertiary products you are consuming in the form of the French fries, you are consuming in the form of the trans fats are the unsaturated fatty acids. That is the dalda, scooter, specifically kind of the foods which are the saturated with the hydrogenated products. The one kind, the unsaturated one, that's are very saturated is +1. Yes, we can say कि saturated fats में क्या होता है ना कि saturated fats are mostly animal products होते हैं. Animal products में से ही हमें saturated fat मिलता है, and the people reduce their consumption of saturated fat in order to जो लोग ज़्यादा amount में consume करते हैं like meat ज़्यादा amount में consume करते हैं, they are consuming the non-vegetarian items in the high amounts, the saturated fats is deposited into them. In the saturated fats, we are having only the single bond. We are not having a double bonds. And then the chain, specifically kind of the single bonds we are finding out here, and the hydrogen is filled in between them. So इस केस में आपको differentiation में सिर्फ यही पता होना चाहिए. Unsaturated fats can be in the form of natural. They can in the form of the artificial forms. When they are in the form of natural forms, they are healthy for the human beings. The example can be the walnut, the example can be the milk products, the examples can be the specifically kind of the other like the avocado के बारे में भी आप बात कर सकते हैं. When these are hydrogenated with the hydrogens, when they are converted into the solid states from the liquid states, they are become dangerous for the human beings. They can be lead to the cardiac arrest. They can lead to the different kind of the cancers into the human beings. They can also lead to the some kind of a diabetes into the human beings as well. So the trans fats are very dangerous for the human beings. In the some of the products now, अगर आप कुछ खरीदेंगे आज के टाइम में तो लिखा होता है जीरो ट्रांस फैट. कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स में आजकल लिखा आने लगा because this is a FSSAI guidelines, Food Safety Security Authority of India. These are the guidelines from the FSSAI. These are the guidelines from the Food Safety Security Authority of India. If you are selling any product and you are claiming any product is not having the trans fat, then you should mention a logo on your wrapper. आप logo लगाएंगे wrappers पे, and also you are mention a zero trans fat products, so that you can consumer are attracted to buy those products and the consumer have a clarity about it. They are not eating trans fat products. That's the guideline by the Food Safety Security Authority of India. I hope clear. यहाँ तक सबको clear है? कोई doubt? गणेश, देवग्रह, इब्राहिम, इधर सौम्यदीप, शिवम, Nishan, Shraddha, clear to everyone? All okay? Okay, ठीक. Now let's move to the another part, how it is accumulated into the human body. Human body में कैसे accumulate होता है? If we are talking about here, initially we focus on the HDL and the LDL. HDL is the high density lipoprotein. High density lipoprotein. And LDL is the low density lipoprotein. HDL is the high density lipoprotein and the low density lipoprotein. HDL are known as the good fat and the LDL are known as the bad fat. Like the concept of good cope and the bad cope, desi ghee is the good cope and the dalda ghee is known as the bad cope. Similarly, the HDL and the LDL concept की बात करते हैं. So here is the liver and here is the arteries. The liver and the arteries are here. When the LDL, low density lipoprotein cholesterol, this is depositing on our artery. ये हमारे artery पे deposit हो जाता है. Here it is depositing on our artery and here it is making a plaque. It is making a plaque. Initially the artery was having this diameter. Initially artery is having this diameter, but now the diameter is reduced to half. Now the diameter is reduced to half. Means in diameter specifically, if you are looking at, initially the blood can flow with the higher speed into the artery and it is not putting any extra pressure. कोई extra pressure नहीं लगा रहा because the space given in the artery, that's the blood can flow through it. But जैसे ही low density lipoprotein LDL deposit होना शुरू होगा in the form of trans fat, the area of blood start decreasing, the area of the artery start decreasing. Now the area start decreasing, blood amount तो same ही flow करेगा ना. Blood is circulating into the human body, so it is going to be flow through the same diameter. But it start putting external pressure. It start putting external pressure onto the artery valves, जिसकी वजह से आपको पेन होना शुरू होता है. आपको सॉरी मैम सेइंग आपको पेशेंट को पेन होना शुरू होता है whenever the diameter is becoming small and they are putting the external pressure on the artery so that the blood can flow through it. Yes, A1, B1 is a biological term, so I will avoid these one. So in this case, then start entering the pressure on the outer layer of the arteries and it start causing a pain to the specifically to the patient. यहाँ पे pain होना शुरू होगा. When this will add more, अगर यहाँ पे और ज़्यादा amount में ये deposit होना शुरू हो जाए, when start depositing in the more amount, अगर हम ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं, if we are avoiding the pain like it's a gaseous pain, most of the time in the Indian family we are avoiding the pain like this is the pain due to the formation of a gas inside the stomach. Like it's a common कि आप लोग घर पे भी होते हो तो sometimes saying that is due to the gaseous formation into the stomach. But if you're not taking it seriously, the artery is going to be blocked. Artery is going to be blocked. और जैसे ही artery block होगी, that's the major reason of the cardiac arrest. जिसकी वजह से cardiac arrest होना शुरू हो जाएगा and it lead to the death of the patient. So you can see in how much amount the trans fat is dangerous for the human beings. But here HDL, high density lipoprotein, it remove the cholesterol from the body. It remove the cholesterol from the body. High density protein जो होते हैं lipoprotein होते हैं ये कोलेस्ट्रॉल को हटाते हैं. Low density lipoprotein deposit the cholesterol into the human body. So this is the concept of HDL and the LDL and how the specifically trans fat affecting the human body. Now let's come to the next one. So in India specifically हम बात करते हैं for the control of these products into the market, the FSSAI, Food Safety Security Authority of India is the main agency which are working on it. अगर हम मेडिकल टर्म में बात करते हैं तो विच एजेंसी इज गोइंग टू ट्रीट इट? द इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ मेडिकल रिसर्च, द ICMR. We're talking about it, the Indian Council of Medical Research, which are specifically focusing on the side effects of the trans fat, and so they are focusing on the awareness generation into the humans, कि they can start decreasing the consumptions of the trans fat or the trans fat based product. So in India, ICMR is working on it. In India, FSSAI is working on it, and there is a Fit Health, Eat Health Challenge, Eat Healthy, ऐसा कुछ प्रोग्राम है. Eat Healthy. There is a program run by the government of India. There is a program which is run by the government of India, specifically related to the Eat Right India movement. आप लिख सकते हैं, the program name is Eat Right India movement. Eat Right India movement. This is the movement which is run by the central government, specifically related to the कि आप अच्छा खाएं. You should focus on the good food. You should not focusing on the outside food. I'm not saying कि आप बिल्कुल ही बंद कर दें, but in the some case you should avoid these kind of the food to stay healthy. So the government had started the Eat Right India movement so that they can awareness for the people, awareness को बढ़ा के in the among the people, and the awareness by the FSSAI, then the Indian Council of Medical Research is also focusing on for the awareness of the people related to the trans fats. So these are the efforts taken by the government, specifically the Indian government, to how they can eliminate the trans fat product into the country. Now similarly in the 2018, there was a strategy launched by the WHO. The strategy which is launched by the WHO. In the 2018, there is a new strategy which is launched by the WHO, is known as the Replace strategy. Replace strategy by the WHO in the 2018. In the 2018, the WHO released a Replace strategy that is specifically focused on review the dietary resources. कि आपको जो भी खा रहे हैं, what are the resource of it? So review the dietary resources. Review the dietary resources of industry produced trans fat. जो इंडस्ट्री में trans fat produce हुआ है कहाँ से आया? What are the sources of it? Promote the replacement. Promote the replacement of trans fat in the industry. If the government is saying the industry need to remove the trans fat, so what can be the substitute of it? How we can replace it? इसके लिए भी strategy होना चाहिए. केवल बोलने से तो replace नहीं होगा. We should have a strategy to replace the trans fat. Then legislate to eliminate. What are the rules and regulations? What are the rules and regulation for it? Rules and regulation for removal of trans fat from the industry. Then content of trans fat in products. Assessment. Assessment of trans fat content in the product. Assessment करेंगे कितना % दे सकते हैं आप trans fat in the products. Then the create the awareness and the enforce the compliance. Enforce the compliance means जो हम जनरल में बात करते हैं कि कहाँ से प्रोडक्ट आया, what's the source of the product in the industry, how we can replace that product in the industry, then how the legislature can be formed to eliminate it, then assessment of the content in the food, then we need to aware the people about the trans fat, and then finally enforce the compliance with the policy. Enforce the compliance with the policy. जब हम बात कर रहा हूँ specifically यहाँ पे in the assessment of the trans fat content in the product. Assessment of the trans fat content in the product. In India there is a limit till 2022. You can only add 3% of trans fat in the product. You can only add 3% of trans fat into the product, and then it decreased to the 2% in the 2023, and the government had a target to reach to the 1%, and finally the elimination of the trans fat from the all kind of the food products in the country. Initially they make a limit to the 3%, then 2%, and then 1% for the removal of the trans fat from the food products. Specifically these are the steps taken by the government. अगर बात करें WHO ने क्या steps लिया, Government of India ने क्या steps लिया. So from the starting, what is the trans fat? We discussed about what is the trans fats, what is the report issued by a WHO related to the trans fat. In the trans fat, we specifically focus on high density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein, how it will lead to the cardiac arrest and a different kind of disease. Then what are the strategy by the WHO and how the government of India is taking the steps related to the trans fats. So it can be a direct mains question. इस तरीके से नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज में डायरेक्ट मेंस क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. So you should remember the replace strategy for the removal of trans fat by the WHO. These are the keywords. These are the keywords that you are going to use in your answers. तो आंसर राइटिंग का भी एक क्राइटेरिया है. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि आप जनरल आंसर कुछ भी लिख देंगे. यू शुड यूज द कीवर्ड, यू शुड रैशनलाइज योर आंसर. आंसर में पहले क्या पॉइंट आएगा, सेकंड में क्या आएगा, लास्ट में क्या आएगा. यू शुड फोकस ऑन दैट. व्हाट कैन बी अ बेटर इंट्रोडक्शन, हाउ टू इंट्रोड्यूस द केस स्टडी इनटू द आंसर. That's the more important. So always focus on how to use the content whenever you are reading anything. इसके next part पे आते हैं. Why it is so difficult? Why it is, आप लोग बताएंगे. First thing, why it is so difficult to remove the trans fat from the industry? Why it is so difficult to remove the trans fat from the industry? Anybody? Start thinking why there is so difficult to remove the trans fat from the industry. Anybody, कोई भी बताएगा. Yes, one of the points such as poor regulation, huge market base. Yes. People habits and not aware. Yes, one of the point it can be. Yes, economic point of view, it's a good point. Source of revenue है. Lack of tracking. Yes, lack of tracking. Others, Soumyadeep, Nishant, Shivam. Why it is so difficult to remove the trans fat from the industry? Start thinking. Everything cannot be the ready made. हर चीज आपको रेडी मेड नहीं मिल सकती है except the trans fat. In the UPSC preparation, you need to be think, you need to be link. आपको think करना है, link करना है और उसके बाद आंसर करना है. In the mains paper you will find out there are multiple questions जिसके बारे में आपको आइडिया भी नहीं होगा. So you need to link by the brainstorming. What are you thinking? How you are linking? Demand is high and company cannot afford less cost effective unsaturated fats. This is a valid point, Sardar. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले बात करते हैं. अगर हम बात करूं तो सबसे पहला तो चैलेंज है कि हाई डिमांड. मार्केट में डिमांड ही इतना है प्रोडक्ट्स का, तो देयर इज नो अल्टरनेटिव इज गिवन. जब किसी भी प्रोडक्ट का डिमांड इतना ज्यादा हो जाएगा मार्केट में, तो हाउ इट्स इजी टू रिमूव इट? नहीं रहेगा, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट हैविंग द अल्टरनेटिव ऑफ इट. अभी तक गवर्नमेंट ने कोई अल्टरनेटिव नहीं प्रोवाइड किया है कि यू कैन यूज दिस प्रोडक्ट. सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ थिंग, वी नीड टू प्रोवाइड द आइटम्स इन द चीप रेट. ऐसा नहीं है कि मार्केट में जीरो ट्रांस फैट प्रोडक्ट नहीं आते हैं, बट देयर कॉस्ट इज वेरी हाई. सो द गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो हैव द रेगुलेशन. वी नीड टू मैनेज अ लोअर कॉस्ट. लोअर कॉस्ट होगा तभी कस्टमर आपकी तरफ अट्रैक्ट होगा टू बाय दीज प्रोडक्ट्स. इन प्रोडक्ट्स को खरीदने के लिए तभी अट्रैक्ट होगा, देन ओनली द कंपनी कैन रन एंड देन ओनली द इकोनॉमी कैन रन. दैट्स अ साइकिल देयर. The first, we are not having any alternative of it. Second, there is a high demand in the market related to the trans fat products, so it's very difficult. And there is a valid point from the Anu. Strict regulation requirement है, affordability है. Yes, it's affordability. Poor. Second important point is the poor enforcement of the policy. Poor enforcement of the policy in the country, specifically like India or the any other developing country, we are having the regulations. हमारे पास इतने regulation है ना, कुछ negative नहीं हो सकता country में, but zero implementation. We are not having the implementation of those regulations. So that's the issue related to specifically the implementation or the enforcement of the policy. Implementation or the enforcement of the policy. Then third, the consumer preference. अब हम लोगों का ही प्रेफरेंस है हमें 2 मिनट वाला पोहा खाना है, अभी हम लोगों का ही प्रेफरेंस है हमें 2 मिनट्स रेडी नूडल्स भी खाने हैं, अब हम लोगों का भी प्रेफरेंस है कि हमें हर चीज रेडीमेड मिल जाए, मेहनत ना करनी पड़े. नाउ इट्स ऑल्सो प्रेफरेंस, वी ऑल्सो प्रेफर द रेडीमेड वेजिटेबल्स एज वेल. सो दिस इज द प्रेफरेंस बेस्ड मार्केट नाउ. हर किसी को कम टाइम में चीजें चाहिए. टेस्ट की भी बात करते हैं तो इट्स ऑल्सो हैविंग अ गुड टेस्ट. So that's the issue why it is not easy to remove the trans fat from the country. इसीलिए there need to be strict regulation. There is a need of the alternatives for the trans fat elimination के लिए alternatives चाहिए, strict regulation चाहिए, as well as there is a need to change the behavioral aspect as well. किसी भी बड़ी चीज को करने के लिए we need to change the behavior of the people of the country. Like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the government just started. That is the first behavioral change toward the cleanliness. So first we need to be change the behavior. We need to aware the people related to the how you should focus on and how it impact your life. Okay, so it is about the trans fat. Any doubts in the trans fat, please ask. Any question अगर आप लोगों को है तो you can ask any question related to the trans fats. Any question? Yes, there public awareness campaign in Bharat और polio vaccination की तरह ये हो सकता है. Okay, now let's move to the next topic. Next topic is NTD. NTD. Next topic is NTD. This is important for your prelims examination as well as the mains examination. Neglected tropical disease is an important topics for your prelims examination as well as the main examination. As the name suggests, neglected. Government is not focusing on these diseases. Tropical, geographical perspective. In tropical regions, these are the most impacted diseases. Disease means बीमारियां. Neglected tropical disease means NTDs. These are the diseases which are not in the primary list of the government, and that's the name neglected. Tropical means these are on the geography. आप शायद almost you are the geography optional students. So the tropical means in the tropical area of the geography disease, these are the highly affected one. Neglected tropical disease. So recently there was a global report on the NTDs by the again WHO again released the global report on the NTDs neglected tropical diseases. According to the report, WHO has said that they are going to eliminate the tropical NTDs disease by 2030. They are having a target of 2030 कि 90% of the NTDs we can remove by the 2030. And they release a roadmap. They released a roadmap for the NTDs from 2000. They released a roadmap for NTDs for the 2021 to 2030. That is a 10-year roadmap. That is a 10-year roadmap for the elimination of the NTDs. And there's a recently the chart become the 51 country. The chart become the 51st country that at least eliminate the one non-tropical disease, that is the sleeping sickness. That is the sleeping sickness. Chart become the 51st country in the world which at least remove the one NTD disease, that is the sleeping sickness. Anyone of you can tell me, is India removed any of the non-tropical disease from the country? इंडिया आज तक सक्सेसफुल हुआ है किसी भी नॉन ट्रॉपिकल डिजीज को निकालने के लिए? इज इंडिया इज एवर सक्सेसफुल to remove any of the नॉन ट्रॉपिकल डिजीज, कोई भी बताएगा? एज यू आर रीडिंग द न्यूज पेपर्स, लेट मी चेक व्हाट यू आर रीडिंग। इंडिया ने कितने नॉन ट्रॉपिकल डिजीज आज तक एलिमिनेट किए? एनीबडी? No idea. Okay. There is one is the Guinea worm. You can write the one is the Guinea worm. The country eliminated in the 2000. Then in 2016 they eliminated the yaw. These are the two diseases which are eliminated by the India specifically to the NTD. NTD disease से ये eliminate किया गया. Now, in this report, the WHO specifically mentioned about there is having a target of the 90% removal. There is a target of 90% removal of the tropical disease, NTDs, neglected tropical disease by 2030. In 2022, almost 1.62 billion people. In 2022, almost 1.62 billion people were removed from the neglected tropical disease and almost 26% decrease from the 2010. जो 2010 में numbers था neglected tropical disease affected patients का, that decreased almost about 26%. So in this report, the WHO mentioned about it. There is a decrease of 26% of the NTDs, and there is a reduction in the vector-borne disease by 75%. Now the WHO have a target of it, the 90% removal of the NTD. 90% removal of NTDs by 2030. 90% removal of NTDs by 2030. 75% decrease in death rate. 75% decrease in death rate by 2030. But in the last 5 years, there is an increase in 25% death rate. जहां पे WHO बात कर रहा है कि we are going to decrease the death rate, but in the last 5 years there is an increase in the 25% death rate due to the NTD. Increase in the 25% death rate. In here, the WHO also having one other criteria, the 100%. The WHO also having the another criteria, the 100% availability of the 100% availability of drinking water and hygiene and sanitation. 100% availability of drinking water and hygiene and sanitation by 2030. This is the one of the another target ki 100% sanitation. Yes, I will list down, Shraddha. Please wait for 5 minutes. वही discuss करेंगे आगे. Okay, so in the 100% availability of the drinking waters and the basic water supply sanitation by the 2030, again this is the target of the WHO. The first target, the removal of the 90% of the NTDs. The second target is 75% decrease in the death rate by the NTDs, and the 100% availability of the drinking water and hygiene and the sanitations by the WHO की ये तीनों चीजें तो होना ही चाहिए. अब बात करते हैं इंडिया की. इंडिया ने अभी तक 2 NTDs को रिमूव किया है. वन इज द गिनिया वर्म. तो यू कैन नोट डाउन, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. द इंडिया टिल नाउ हैज एलिमिनेटेड द टू neglected tropical diseases, 2 NTDs. Yes, 100% in a tropical area. Yeah. India has eliminated the two NTDs. One is the Guinea worm, GUINEA. The first is the Guinea worm, GUINEA in 2000, and YAWS, YAWS in 2016. YAWS in 2016. Neglected tropical disease के बारे में सबसे पहले बात होना शुरू हुआ अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2015. In the 2015 the government start discussing about the neglected tropical disease. जब सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल अनाउंस हुए in 2015, in the sustainable development goal 3.3 specifically they are talking about the neglected tropical disease. उसके बाद अवेयरनेस बढ़ना शुरू हुआ कि these are the major burden on the economy, these are the major health burden on the government, these are the major health burden for the specifically for the developing country. अगर बात करेंगे स्पेसिफिकली जो 10 मेजर डिजीज हैं, तो यू कैन राइट डाउन द नेम ऑफ द 10 मेजर डिजीज, दैट्स द neglected tropical disease. One is the hookworm. One is the hookworm. I am writing the name. The first is the hookworm. So you can write down the name. The one. Hookworm. The second is dengue. The second is dengue. Third is lymphatic filariasis. The third is lymphatic filariasis. Fourth is leprosy. Fourth is leprosy. Fifth is kala ajar. Leprosy, kala ajar. Then rabies. Sixth is rabies. Seven is ascariasis. Rabies, ascariasis, trachoma. Eighth is trachoma. Eighth is trachoma. 9 is cysticercosis. 9 is cysticercosis. And the 9th is cysticercosis. And 10 is trichuriasis. Trichuriasis. TRICHURASIS. These are the 10 non-tropical diseases. These are the 10 non-tropical diseases which are known as the major neglected tropical diseases. These are the 10 diseases which are known as major neglected tropical diseases. These are known as major neglected tropical diseases. And these NTDs can be caused by virus. Virus के through हो सकती है. They can be through the bacteria. They can be through the parasites. These can be through the fungi and because of the toxins as well. तो किसी से भी हो सकता है, ऐसा स्पेसिफिक नहीं है कि there will be the only the one agent which is causing these diseases. There can be the any number of agents which are leading to the these NTD, neglected tropical disease, and these are affecting the specifically the major population in the world. Approximately 1.6 billion population को affect करता है. So you can mind numbers. 1.6 billion population is affected. And you can guess which is the highest which is the country which is highly impacted by the NTDs. That's the India. That's the India which is highly impacted. Almost 40% population of the country. Almost 40% population of the country is impacted by NTD. India की 40% population impacted है NTD से. 40% means almost 60 crore. India is having the population of 150 crores. And almost the 60 crore population of the country is impacted by NTDs. So you can think about it. What can be the economic cost on the government? Economic cost government को कितना आ रहा होगा? What is the social cost to the government? What is the economic cost to the individual? Those who are spending crores of money, lakhs of money, or the thousands of money to treat these NTDs, who are continuously impacted by the neglected tropical disease. So there should be a government plan related to it that have an idea related to the NTDs क्या होना चाहिए. इंडिया में स्पेसिफिकली द यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ कवरेज की बात होती है. अगर आपने इकोनॉमिक सर्वे यू हैड रीड द इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ 2019 जहाँ पे यूनिवर्सल इनकम की बात हुई. नाउ दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ कवरेज. If they are working on the universal health coverage, so there is a target to removal of the NTDs almost 90% by the 2030 के बारे में बात हो जाना चाहिए. अगर इसमें बात करूं overall the worldwide the spending on NTDs, the burden of economic burden is $350 billion. Now worldwide the worldwide economic burden is the $350 billion only because of the neglected tropical disease, only because of the neglected tropical disease. So इनको निकालना, why there is a need, why there is a need to eliminate NTDs. The first we discuss about having the economic impact on the population. The second, it affecting the large number of the population. अब ये देख लो 40% population को affect कर रहा है in India only. There's 60 crore people. In the 60 crore people, we can say that almost the 20 crores can be the demographic dividend. The 20% can be the demographic dividend. So demographic dividend के through we can say that it's impacting the productivity of the country as well. Do we have vaccines for any of the diseases? Yes, vaccine काफी सारी के लिए बन चुकी है, like the vaccine for the rabies we are having. Vaccine for rabies we are having also having the treatment for the dengue के लिए भी treatment है हमारे पास. काला आजार के लिए vaccine available है. Specifically there is a vaccine available for the lymphatic filariasis के लिए भी है. लेप्रोसी के लिए भी ट्रीटमेंट अवेलेबल है. तो देयर आर द वेरियस डिजीज जिसके लिए अवेलेबल है, ट्रीटमेंट भी अवेलेबल है, एंड ऑल्सो द सम ऑफ द वैक्सीनेशन इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल फॉर दिस डिजीज. अंडर द यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ प्रोग्राम और द इम्यूनाइजेशन प्रोग्राम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की बात करें तो दे आर ऑल्सो इम्यूनाइजिंग द न्यूली बोर्न चिल्ड्रन बिकॉज ऑफ द they are having no impact of the NTDs, ताकि उन पे आगे जाके वो impact ना हो. So the government including these vaccines, specifically the vaccine of the filariasis, the काला आजार, into the immunization program of the government. Rabies की बात करते हैं तो rabies eliminate करना इतना आसान नहीं है because it's spread by the dogs, it's spread by the monkey, it's spread by the cats, so it can be a high impacts on the population. So it's difficult to remove the rabies till now, but the government is having a target to remove it by 2035. 2035 target से, लेकिन the vaccination of the rabies is also available into the country. इसके बाद बात करते हैं, it's also affecting the gender equality. Gender equality को इफेक्ट करता है. मान लो किसी भी specific family में person is affected by the NTDs, then who is the specifically suffering? अगर फीमेल को हुआ तो ऑटोमेटिकली सफर कर दे. अगर मेल को भी होता है देन ऑल्सो द फीमेल इज सफरिंग, देन लुकिंग आउट टू द पेशेंट्स, देन मेकिंग द हाउस होल्ड कोर्स काम करना है, बाकी सारी चीजें करनी है, देख रेख भी करनी है. इफ द मेल मेंबर इज सफर्ड देन इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट फैमिली पे कितना आएगा, देन इनडायरेक्टली इम्पैक्ट ऑन द वुमेन्स एज वेल. सो दीज आर द डिजीज व्हिच आर अफेक्टिंग द country, which are affecting the economy, which are affecting the larger population, affecting the specifically the output of the economy. They are also affecting the like अगर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इफेक्ट हैं इससे तो आउटपुट ऑफ द इकोनॉमी विल ऑल्सो बी इफेक्टेड बाय द एंटीडीज. एंटीडीज कैसे इफेक्ट करता है इकोनॉमी को, क्यों जरूरी है एलिमिनेट करना, सो दीज आर द मेजर पॉइंट ऑफ इट. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट वन. What is the challenge related neglected disease जो हमने लिखा है, like the helminthic से क्या क्या हो सकता है, we note down the things. What are the spread by the protozoa, leishmaniasis, human africans. Viral कौन कौन सी हैं, rabies है, dengue है, chikungunya है. Then the non infectious, what are the non infectious one, snake bites है. Then the ectoparasitics के labels हैं. Then the mycoctoma, chromoblastomasis, सब याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, you just need to know the like the important one, that 10 we had written there. They in the prelims they can be the question, they can give the 4 name of the diseases out of these, which how many of them are the NGTs, neglected tropical disease कौन कौन से हैं. तो this type of question आ सकता है. neglected tropical disease गवर्नमेंट के इम्यूनाइजेशन प्रोग्राम में है या नहीं, इस तरीके की स्टेटमेंट्स आ सकती हैं in the prelims examination. In the mains examination it can be a 10 marker question. In the mains examination it can be a 10 marker question. What are the tropical diseases, what are the challenges faced by the government of India to remove the NTDs from the country. हैं क्या और challenges government के लिए क्या क्या हैं to remove the NTDs and what can be the way forward for it. So this can be the mains question related to it. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, तो व्हाट आर द मेजर चैलेंजेस क्या क्या हैं रिलेटेड टू द नेग्लेक्टेड ट्रॉपिकल डिजीज. द फर्स्ट चैलेंज इज रिलेटेड टू नॉलेज गैप्स. फर्स्ट इज द नॉलेज गैप. देयर इज अ नॉलेज गैप बिटवीन द जनरेशंस, देयर इज अ नॉलेज गैप फॉर द इंडिविजुअल, दैट आर डायग्नोसिस इशू भी हैं, ट्रीटमेंट इशू भी हैं और वैक्सीनेशन के इशू भी हैं. तो देयर इज अ नॉलेज इशू रिलेटेड टू द एंटीडीज. there is a limited surveillance and the detection capability. अगर आप लोग देखोगे तो डेंगू सीजन आता है ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम, अभी डेंगू सीजन ही चल रहा है स्पेसिफिकली, तो ट्रीटमेंट अवेलेबिलिटी होने के बावजूद भी वी आर नॉट हैविंग दिस डायग्नोस्टिक कैपेबिलिटी. डायग्नोस्टिक बहुत लेट होता है. इन द सम ऑफ द सिम्टम्स स्टार्ट डेवलपिंग इन टू द ह्यूमन बींग्स, लेकिन 3-4-5 दिन बाद पता लगता है, क्योंकि जो टेस्ट में 4-5 दिन बाद आता है. But nowadays some dengue cards are available. After the bite of the mosquito, they can give the results within the 1 day you are impacted by these kind of the diseases. So the surveillance and the detection capabilities issue है. Then the weak health system, वो तो हमने देख लिया specifically. The weak healthy system we looked in during the COVID. During the COVID, the crisis in the health system, unavailability of the primary health care in the village level, secondary health care की कोई बात ही नहीं करता, primary से सीधा हम tertiary पे move हो जाते हैं, and tertiary is only available into the metro cities, and that up to a limited capability, and that's also because of the private parties, not of the government one. Do you have an idea? We're only spending the almost 2.4% of our GDP on the health. We're only spending the 2.4% of the GDP only in the health. तो इसमें भी वो 2.4 कहाँ पे स्पेंड होता है, दैट्स ऑल्सो द क्वेश्चन मार्क, बट ओनली वी आर स्पेंडिंग द 2.4% ऑन द हेल्थ एंड अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1.9% ऑन द एजुकेशन. 1.9% of the GDP on the education and the 2.4% of the GDP on the health we are spending. I'm audible? Satsit, you can check from your side. I'm audible to others. Okay. Then the unpredictable funding disrupt. Fundings कहाँ से मिल रही है? Then the rising temperature and the changing weather condition. So you can also focus on the temperature change, climate change. In Delhi, it touched almost 50 to 53 degrees this year. Excessive rainy seasons, excessive heating season, excessive winter season. These are the things that's also increasing the burden of the non-tropical diseases on the countries. So ये different kind of diseases and different kind of burdens हैं that also affecting the human beings, that's also affecting the economy. So how you are writing the answer here? जब भी आप आंसर लिखोगे neglected tropical disease के बारे में, first of all you should know what is the NTD है क्या, neglected tropical disease है क्या, what are the reason behind the NTDs, what are the initiative taken by the governments of India related to the NTDs, what the report of the WHO is saying about NTDs, WHO की report क्या कहना चाहती है, and what can be the impact. तो impact जब आप आएंगे impact पे specifically, you should add the geographical angle, you should add the economical angle, you should add the social angle, you should add the political angles. Political angle means policy based angle. You should add economical angle. That is how the syllabus is divided. आपका सिलेबस स्टार्ट होता है हिस्ट्री से, हिस्टोरिकल पर्सपेक्टिव, देन इट्स मूव टू द ज्योग्राफिकल पर्सपेक्टिव, देन इट्स मूव टू द सोसाइटल पर्सपेक्टिव, देन इन द GS2 इट्स एडेड इनटू द पॉलिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव, देन द गवर्नेंस, देन द जस्टिस पर्सपेक्टिव, एंड फाइनली इट्स मूव टू द इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन. लेट्स मूव टू द GS3, दैट्स द इकोनॉमिकल पर्सपेक्टिव. इकोनॉमी के बाद इस बात करते हैं एग्रीकल्चर पर्सपेक्टिव के बारे में, देन दे टॉक अबाउट द सिक्योरिटी इशू, then they talk about the environment, then they talk about the science and technology, and the GS4 is about the ethical perspective. If you design your answer according to your syllabus, you are getting the good marks in your answer writing as well. So how to use the content, how to frame the answer, what to write in the answer, how to use the content in prelims, how to use the content in the mains. These are things you should keep in mind always whenever you are preparing for it. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं. सो दिस इज द टॉपिक. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक आई थिंक इट्स गोइंग टू बी द लास्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ टाइम. आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड्स. आर्मेनिया बिकम द 43rd नेशन. गिव द नेक्स्ट हेडिंग आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड. गिव द हेडिंग आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड. आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड. Armenia became the 43rd signatory. Armenia became the 43rd signatory of the Artemis Accord. Armenia became the 43rd signatory of the Artemis Accord. It was established in 2020 by the NASA. It is established in 2020. The Artemis Accord is established in 2020 by the NASA, and the other country like the Australia, like the Canada. Now they are the 43 country which signed the Artemis Accord, and India is also member of the Artemis Accord. India is also a signatory. India is also a signatory. What this accord is saying? Yes Shachrit, I will share the PDF. वो PDF आपको मिल जाएगी. What the accord is specifically saying? Accord is saying the peaceful use of the outer space. Outer space का peaceful use करना है. We are not going to use the outer space for the warfares. We are using for the peaceful use of the space with the technology to provide the public services. The peaceful use of the space was the main idea about the Artemis Accord. So peaceful use of space, peaceful use of outer space is the main idea behind the Artemis Accord. So its founding members are Australia. You can write down the founding members: Australia, Canada, Italy, Australia, Canada, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg, UAE, and UK. Its objective, you can also write down the objective of the accord. Its objective is non-binding principle to govern civil exploration and use of the outer space the moon, Mars, comets and asteroids. Moon, Mars, comets and the asteroids for the peaceful purpose. Means the major focus of this accord कि we need to use the outer space, even it's the moon, even it's the Mars, even it's any asteroids, for the peaceful purpose. किसी भी military actions के लिए space का use नहीं करना है. We should use only for the peaceful purpose, for the humanity only. That's the Artemis Accord was in the 2020 by the NASA and the 7-8 other country. India is a signatory and it's a non-binding accord. Non-binding है. You want to sign it, otherwise it's okay. That's the Artemis Accord. So it's established, ये हमने देख लिया है सारा. हाँ, what is the key principle that we are talking about? The peaceful purpose. This is the main keyword of this accord. Peaceful purpose के लिए use करेंगे. ट्रांसपेरेंट रखेंगे कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं स्पेस में. डेट इज गोइंग टू बी ट्रांसपेरेंट. हार्मफुल इंटरफेरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए. दैट शुड नॉट इम्पैक्ट द ह्यूमंस. टाइमली एंड ओपन शेयरिंग ऑफ द साइंटिफिक डेटा. वी शुड शेयर द साइंटिफिक डेटा एंड द आउटर स्पेस हेरिटेज विद द हिस्टोरिक वैल्यू. आउटर स्पेस हेरिटेज होना चाहिए, पीसफुल पर्पज होना चाहिए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी होना चाहिए, हार्मफुल इंटरफेरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए. सो दीज आर द की प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द Artemis Accords. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं AlphaFold 3. Next topic you can write down AlphaFold and this will be the last topic for today. AlphaFold 3. This is an artificial intelligence model, AI model. This is an artificial intelligence model by the Google DeepMinds and Isomorphic Lab. AI model by the Google DeepMinds and Isomorphic Lab. In the prelims examination, it can be a direct question. In the prelims examination, it can be a direct question. The question can be AlphaFold 3 was recently mentioned in the news. It is related to the first option. They can be saying it is related to the space exploration. क्योंकि अल्फा से आपको सबसे पहले वही याद आएगा. Second option can be it is an AI model. To predict DNA structure. The third can be, it is a robot introduced by ICMR, and the fourth can be any kind of a thing. So AlphaFold 3 is a specifically artificial intelligence model which can predict the structure of the DNA, which can predict the structure of the RNA, which can predict the structures of the different kind of the proteins in the human body. So you can see the usefulness of this model AlphaFold 3. जिस स्ट्रक्चर्स में ऑलवेज इशू होते थे डिटरमाइन करने के लिए, नाउ द AI कैन easily determine the structure of DNA, RNA, proteins and the ligands in the human body. Means this AI model is going to be helpful in the detection of a disease as well. जब genetic disease होते हैं, means these diseases are due to the change in the genetic structure. Change in the genetic structure means change in the DNA, change in the RNA. That can be easily detected by the AlphaFold 3, that is an AI model for it. So if there is a question related to the AlphaFold 3, what is AlphaFold 3? This is an AI model which is going to detect the DNA, RNA in the protein. That can be directly the answer. So the question can be asked in this way: what is AlphaFold 3 and how it's going to detect the different kind of things. So this is done for today. We discussed the 4-5 topics of science and technology. We discussed the 8 to 10 locations that's important for your prelims examinations. We are going to meet in the next month with the same kind of the perspective: how to use the content, how to attempt the paper, how to focus on the content, how the content can be used in the prelims and the mains examination, how to write the answers from these content. This will be the mains perspective. How to focus on the newspaper as well. We are going to discuss this thing. स्टार्टिंग से देख लेते हैं हम लोगों ने क्या क्या किया है. First we focus on the different kind of the location. The first was the Iceland, second was the Nord Stream. In the Nord Stream we focus on the Russia, Germany and the Baltic Sea boundary country. Nord Stream pipeline, Viborg to Greifswald, Ustaluga to Greifswald. Then the Baltic Sea country sharing the boundary with the Baltic Sea. We learn about the mnemonics, the route Germany, Cell, Poland and the Finland. Then the Iraq, UNAMI mission in the Iraq of the UN. Then the lake in the Iraq, Lake Thar and the Lake Raja in the Iraq. Then the Fuan Techno Canal in the Cambodia. We discuss about the Techno Canal. Then with the Fuan Techno Canal, we also looked about the Mekong River that's passing through these 4 countries. Then we focusing on the lake into the same country, Tonle Sap Lake. After that we focused on the Mount Kanlaon. Mount Kanlaon के साथ साथ हमने 5 माउंटेन्स और देखे हैं: Pinatubo, Mayon, Kanlaon. Lake Natron in Tanzania, that is affected due to the climate regions. Then the Lake Tanzania के साथ Lake Victoria, Malawi and the Manyara. After that we focus on the Denmark livestock tax लगाया गया है वहाँ पे. इसके साथ साथ the country bounding the North Sea, Norway. And this was the mapping topics. Why I am repeating again and again? ताकि आप लोगों को याद हो जाए. In this generation there is a major issue. We are, for everything we are dependent on the Google. For the every kind of thinking we are dependent on the internet. कुछ भी हमें नहीं आता हम तुरंत उसको सर्च करने की कोशिश करते हैं इंस्टीड ऑफ ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग. हम सोच नहीं रहे. वी आर नॉट थिंकिंग. वी आर, जो थिंकिंग का काम था वो भी हम चैट जीपीटी से करा ले रहे हैं, वो हम गूगल से पूछ ले रहे हैं. लाइक अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं एप्लीकेशन, व्हाट आर द एप्लीकेशंस ऑफ द आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इन द डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, आप सोचोगे नहीं. यू आर जस्ट गूगलिंग इट एंड यू आर राइटिंग इट हियर. You need to think, आपको सोचना पड़ेगा. You need to think on your own, reduce your dependency on these gadgets. Yes, these are very useful in your preparation, but whenever you are reading, please think on it. आप सोचना शुरू करें. After the class, give 10 minutes to the content. आप लोग उसको पढ़ो कि क्या क्या पढ़ाया गया, कि कितना हमें याद है कितना नहीं है. From the first location till the last discussion of the accord and the AI, वो आपको याद होना चाहिए. दिस इज द 2-hour कोर्स वी डिस्कस इन द क्लास. तभी आप लोगों की कैपेसिटी बढ़ेगी, तभी आपको याद होगा, रिवीजन अच्छे से हो पाएगा, तभी आप उसको रिप्रोड्यूस भी कर पाएंगे इन द एग्जामिनेशन. तभी आपका कंफ्यूजन भी दूर होगा जो प्रीलिम्स में मेनली होता है, बिकॉज आंसर इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, आपके सामने आंसर है लेकिन द कंफ्यूजन बिकॉज आपने ब्रेन स्टॉर्मिंग वाला काम ही नहीं किया, या जस्ट रीडिंग इट, हाँ हो गया, जस्ट रीडिंग इट, हाँ हो गया, 3 दिन बाद सब साफ है, कुछ याद नहीं है। तो प्लीज स्टार्ट थिंकिंग, सोचना शुरू करें, डोंट बी एडिक्टिव ऑफ द डिवाइसेस, जस्ट थिंक हाउ टू यूज इट, क्या हमने पढ़ा है क्या नहीं पढ़ा है। ओके, सो वी विल मीट ऑन द maybe on the 2nd or the 3rd of Friday of this month again with the new topics related to science and technology and with the mapping classes. I hope you like the class. थोड़ा सा फास्ट हो गया because we need to complete the topics. I hope कि आपको समझ आया होगा how to use the content, what to focus on and how to read the newspaper specifically related to the different kind of the topics. Okay, thank you everyone. Yeah.